Remember that time you paid to skip the line in Disney World?
Today, we are talking about the Disney Genie. No, not Robin Williams. And no, not even Will Smith. We are talking about the new AI inside of your phone, the Disney Genie.
We are really getting into it today, friends.
A part of the My Disney Experience app, there is free Disney Genie, which is freeney, as I will call it. You have Genie Plus, which is a paid per day service that is quite similar to what FastPass was in Disneyland. And then you have Fancy Rides, which are a additional fee.
You ain't never had a friend like Genie Plus. Or maybe you have.
So this is where things can get super confusing because the nomenclature, definition below, nomenclature really does matter, and I think that kind of went out the window here. So Genie Plus, not Disney Plus, that's a subscription service where you can watch your favorite Disney films and shows. The Genie Plus, however, is a paid service that enhances your regular Genie, your budget Genie, and that allows you to access lightning lanes for certain attractions within the theme parks.
Lightning lane is the term for the physical entrance at the attraction that you will go through with a Genie Plus or Fancy Ride purchase. So you have your standby lane and your lightning lane. That's all it is. Nothing else is called lightning lane except for the physical thing at the attraction. It's what used to be the FastPass Plus lane.
Lightning lane. Lightning lane. What does that sound like?
It makes me feel like Thor.
It sounds like an old haunted road that was struck by lightning. You know, and every Halloween, you know, all the lightning, the people who got struck on the lane reappear on the lightning lane. Don't go to the lightning lane, beware!
Somebody, Lightning McQueen? Are we going for that?
We had Greg from Creative who was like, hey, we're just gonna call this Lightning Lane for now, team. And the team said, oh yeah, that's great, Greg. Yeah, great. We're definitely gonna change that though, because we all agree it's really, really confusing. And then nobody went back to do it. And I'm sure Greg wasn't gonna say anything because his idea is gonna now be in the theme park. So here we are.
Name as many lightning lanes as you can. I mean, it's basically anything that had a fast lane before. You're going to have in Magic Kingdom, Haunted Mansion, it's like too many. It's overwhelming.
It's all the rides. It's all the rides. It's all the rides. It's not all the rides, but it's all the rides. You know what I mean? It's a lot of the rides. So odds are, you name a Disney ride right now. Maybe it has a lightning lane. Probably has a lightning lane.
There's an elephant in the room. And the elephant I'm talking about specifically is the one when Genie turns a boo into an elephant and he's got his little fez on. He's in the room. I can see him. He's right over there. You're ruining my couch, sir. You didn't have to pay for FastPass Plus, and now you have to pay for Genie Plus, which is a similar service that provides you the same outcome, which is skipping the lines.
Very big deal. People are feeling types of ways about this.
Is it magic if you paid $129 to go to the park and then you pay $15 extra to ride Rise of Resistance?
I think this is unfair if Disney forced you to purchase it for every day of your trip. That is when you would start to have me be up in arms, because at a certain point, I will take a resort day. The fact that I can purchase it very much in an ad hoc way is what I think makes it worth it.
And you don't have to buy it. That's, I think, the thing that people keep forgetting is that you can go in the standby line. And there are ways to successfully avoid most of the long lines by using standby. Quincy and I just did an experiment, and I rode all of the big attractions in Magic Kingdom faster than she did, and she had Genie Plus and I just had my brain. But it requires a lot more planning, and it requires a lot more running around the park.
For those people who may, you know, be at Disney World for a couple of days, maybe one of the days, this would be a great option for you to pick at your favorite park so that you can experience more attractions. Now, where it gets kind of conflicting is if you have a huge family, you know what I mean? If you have a huge family and you're paying $15 per day, it could be kind of pricey, you know what I mean?
I do think it's fair. Whether it's worth it or not, that depends on your family. It depends on what park you're in. It depends on what time of year you're going. It depends on how well versed you are with your phone. it depends on your budget. There's a lot of factors that need to be taken into consideration for whether or not Genie is worth it.
Disney Genie service is all about simplifying and maximizing your fun. And you've never had a friend like this. I love how easy it is to get started with Disney Genie service.
Free Genie
Freeney, as we started calling him, Freeney.
is a service that generates real-time itineraries for you and your family based on data using artificial intelligence.
You also get the tip board page, which gives you like everything that you might need to know for that park all on this like one screen.
So what you can do is you select like the attractions you want to do, the shows you're interested in, where you'd like to eat, or you can select just like general, I'm into princesses, I'm into Star Wars, or we're foodies, want to do character dining. You select all these things, and then the Genie, you know in Infinity War when Doctor Strange is like, and he figures out the one way that the Avengers can win, that's what the Genie does.
The best thing about Freeney is it will tell you things you probably already knew, but like you get in the park and they're like, you should go ride Dumbo and Barnstormer and Ariel.
Are there going to be some hiccups and some speed bumps at first? Absolutely, but you can expect that with any new process rolling out. This one in particular, though, I think is going to revolutionize the way theme parks are actually engaged with.
The Genie isn't a human, and it doesn't take into account your preferences yet. It takes into account what you tell it, but it doesn't know certain things about you. For example, the Genie told me to go wait in an hour-long line for Seven Dwarfs Mine Train because that was a good time to go ride it and the wait was relatively low. That is right, an hour for Mine Train is relatively low. But the Genie doesn't know that I'm no way gonna go stand in an hour-long line for Mine Train if I don't have to.
It's like, go ride Voyage of the Little Mermaid, 5-minute wait. And you're like, you have to weigh that. If I have my 8-year-old with me, then yes, that 5-minute wait is really valuable. But if Space Mountain is at 20 minutes, you should go do Space Mountain because it's gonna get worse. So you have to weigh your Genie with the Genie within and make sure that it's a constant, you're constantly measuring your Genie against Disney's Genie.
One of the downfalls of this is that it will recommend restaurants that, for example, launch day, I kept getting Tortuga Tavern pushed to me as an option to eat. And I don't know if you know this about me, but I'm vegan. My name is Breedlove, and I figured out a way to talk about being vegan in a video about Genie Plus. You can't eat Genie Plus, friends. It's technically vegan.
Right. They definitely have their issues. They did tell Molly to eat the Dapper Dans, and I'm glad that she did not.
You know, we don't want to eat the Dapper Dans. That's not what they're meant for.
And the only thing they're serving up are delicious harmonies.
I mean, I know Molly's a Slytherin, but I am too, and we don't eat people often.
Now, I love the Dapper Dans, but I do not think they would taste very good. So, the Genie is very smart, but it is smart in the way that robots are smart, and that what it's suggesting may be smart in the data, but it may not be smart to you and your preferences.
I'm pretty pleased with the predictive wait times too. That is actually one of my favorite parts of the new system. That's data that Disney has had, but has not made public to guests. And it's something that somebody like me or Molly, or even like someone who's just a more experienced Disney goer, having access to that information can make the planning of the day go a whole lot smoother.
I could out Genie the Genie, yes. I think I am the Genie now. I think I put that blue filter on and I was like, look, 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 look. I'm the Genie now. There's no question I could out Genie the Genie in any park on any day.
Right now, do I think I could? Today, could I out Genie the Genie? Yeah. In 6 months, probably not. Again, that's just how this happens. Genie has a bunch of old data, and they're only gonna get new, better, and more accurate data moving forward from users actually utilizing the system. So do I think I could beat decades of old data? Absolutely I do, 100%. But talk to me in 6 months, probably couldn't do it. In fact, I would put money that I could not do it.
You can outsmart the Genie, definitely. And you actually need to outsmart it a lot because you have to constantly clear things out of the itinerary that you've already done. It's not smart enough to know when you've done something. You have to click several buttons, an X and a "Are you sure?" notification, and etc. And then it will remove that thing from your itinerary. It takes work.
Yes, Genie is confusing. And I say this as someone who lives and breathes Disney. I mean, it's my job. It's all of our jobs.
Are you guys ready? I'm gonna fix your mindset for how Genie Plus works. Are you ready? Do you remember paper FastPass? You do. I know you do. When you had paper FastPass, you walked up to the FastPass kiosk and it said, now distributing return times of 11 to 12. And you stuck your paper ticket into the machine and it spit out a FastPass ticket that said, please return between 11 and 12. You didn't get to pick. You had no say over what time that said. That is how Genie Plus works. Imagine Genie Plus as a teeny tiny FastPass kiosk in your pocket, which also means, and this is a big thing I got a lot of messages about, you can only get all the Genie Pluses because you're a party of one. That's not true. This is a huge improvement from FastPass Plus. If I walked up to a FastPass kiosk with a party of 2, and the person next to me walked up to a FastPass machine with a party of 8, it didn't matter. We both stuck all of our tickets in, and we got the same return time. This is, again, a huge improvement from FastPass Plus, which was based on availability. This is based on next available. Does that help? I know, it's so confusing. I feel like a mean school teacher trying to tell people how this works, but it is so confusing. And that will help if you adjust your mind. It will help you understand.
So far, I would say predictive wait times, the tip board, and my brain are doing pretty well competing with Genie Plus.
Infiltrated a first order Star Destroyer that is now headed to this system. Your outpost on Batu is no longer safe.
We're talking about Fancy Rides TM. That's what Molly calls it, but the actual official name that is given it to us by Disney is IAS, which stands for Individual Attraction Selection.
Did you hear about Breedlove? He has IAS. He's so brave. I think we should start a GoFundMe for him, for his IAS. I think we should too.
Fancy rides are actually called nothing. Disney didn't name the fancy rides.
Fancy rides are actually called individual Lightning Lane a la carte paid selections. And then as a joke, I started saying Fancy Rides TM because other people started calling them Fancy Rides, and I feel like I should trademark Fancy Rides. But you guys know where Fancy Rides comes from. You know. I have strongly considered trademarking Fancy Rides TM, so then it'd be Fancy Rides TM. Gotta look into that.
Hi, I'm RJ. You might recognize me from running around Epcot trying to find monorails, singing in parking lots, or, unfortunately, losing to Molly. Today, we're here to talk about IAS.
So Disney Genie Plus includes 40 attractions. There are 8 attractions, 2 in each theme park, that are not included in Disney Genie Plus but do have lightning lanes. And the way that you access those lightning lanes is by paying a designated fee.
So this is where it gets a little even more confusing. Fancy rides are going to change in pricing. This depends on things like the weekends, if it's a super busy time of year, is it the holidays?
It could be like $7 for Space Mountain, or $12 for Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, or $15 for Rise of Resistance, or $11 for Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. And that's why Disney's got your credit card on that Magic Band, so that it's like, it's not real money, it's Magic Band money. So it's like, you know what, let's just boop, boop.
For a simple $15, can help our friend Breedlove with his IAS. Look, life is hard. And sometimes you gotta go when you gotta go. So help us, help him.
Name the fancy rides. Okay, with pleasure. At Magic Kingdom, you have Space Mountain and Seven Dwarfs Mine Train.
In Epcot, it is Frozen Ever After and Remy's Ratatouille Adventure.
Hollywood Studios, Rise of the Resistance, Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway.
And at Animal Kingdom, you have Avatar Flight of Passage and Expedition Everest Legend and the Forbidden Mountain TM.
Price of the fancy rides extra, is it fair?
I think it needs to be set out right. Most of these fancy rides you should not be paying for. Everest is not something you need to pay for.
Rope drop them, especially if you're a resort guest and you're going to early park entry, make these your top priority. Or stay and do them last thing at night. Regular day, I think you can avoid a long line at most of these attractions.
You can still ride the ride, right? You can still wait in line for Rise of the Resistance, which is better than it's been for the last 2 years, because if you were just out of luck earlier, if you couldn't get a boarding group, you were out of luck.
I think having the choice, more choice in this world is sort of what everyone is fighting for. This service is giving us that choice, and it's opening up the possibilities. It's not limiting them.
Mail down to this address, and you can get a beautiful t-shirt with Breedlove's face on it that says, I helped Breedlove with IAS. Thank you for your time. In the arms of
I don't know. Who am I? I'm just Breedlove, a vegan.
Oh, hiya, folks. Want to take a ride on the train?
To all who come to this happy place, welcome. Disneyland is your land.
Is this the first time people have had to pay for individual attractions?
No.
It's the first time that I've had to pay for individual attractions in a Disney park, but it is not the first time that people have had to pay for individual attractions in a Disney park.
No.
Granted, at the time it was much less expensive than it is now.
This always makes me laugh when people comment Walt would be really mad. What would Walt Disney have thought? He would have been like, yeah, this is how tickets work. I'm not saying you can't be mad. You can be mad that you have to pay for something you didn't have to pay for before. You can be mad that you don't like the technology. You can be mad. But you don't get to invoke Walt on this one, friends. Because Walt Disney, this is how tickets worked when Walt Disney was in charge.
They're the first and original ticket model for any Disney theme park, starting in Disneyland and Walt Disney World, was something called a ticket book on A through E pages, with A attractions being kind of the least, quote, exciting, unquote, and E being the most thrilling or exciting.
You would have less E-tickets and a lot more A-tickets, and therefore it made the E-ticket attractions more expensive.
In 1999, FastPass was born. And this was your old paper FastPass where you walk up to the booths, you walk up to the kiosks, and it says now distributing this time, and you put your ticket in and it spits out your ticket and then another little paper ticket with a return time. You then would take that ticket back at the return time, go in through the FastPass line, and you'd go through your expedited line.
You know what was so exciting? Was my dad walking over to the FastPass kiosk and then coming back holding a stack of paper FastPasses. Like, not a stack, it would be like 4, but you'd be like, oh, we are in. Thanks for doing that, Dad. You hooked us up.
I remember running around the park. It was crazy to go put your ticket in and do it and say, okay, and look at your watch and have the paper. And keeping up with the paper was crazy.
FastPass Plus was the digital system for FastPass, where you can choose up to 3 FastPasses a day when you were planning your Disney World trip.
Well, I mean, I prefer FastPass Plus because it was free, and Genie Plus is not, so there's not. But, alternatively, FastPass also, you are booking it well in advance, so for someone like me who would kind of do more spur of the moment weekend trips, it was kind of a bummer because I rarely was able to get the rides that I really would have wanted.
I like the idea of walking into the park and saying, you know what, I'd like to ride Pirates of the Caribbean. Look at that. I can do it in 20 minutes. I like that more than like 2 months ago having to wake up and decide I wanted to ride Pirates of the Caribbean at 10:30 in the morning.
People are complaining about having to stare down at your phone a lot with Genie and Genie Plus, and I do understand the criticism. There is a whole series of ride photos of me riding these amazing rides like Pirates of the Caribbean with my face down, looking at my phone.
I am spending the same amount of time on my phone because I was maximizing FastPass Plus. I was not walking into the park with my 3 booked FastPasses and calling it a day when I was done. I was getting more FastPass Pluses. So the fact that I'm getting more Genie Pluses means I'm on my phone the same amount.
What I want from Genie is the full comprehensive suite. I want them to be able to give me predictive information on everything, and that's from shopping all the way through making me dining reservations to if I just wanted to have a day where I experience a resort, I want it to be that intimate.
The Genie also doesn't have things like food and wine in it, and I would love for me to tell the Genie, hey, I'm going to food and wine today, help me. Help me know which kiosks are gonna have long lines, help me know which kiosks I'm not gonna like, help me, Genie.
I wish it could walk for me. It's not gonna happen, but wouldn't that be nice?
I wish I could tell Genie I'm hungry.
Oh, I wish that you could select specific dietary needs. I wish that I could tell Genie that I am vegan.
I'm excited. I'm excited about the future of Disney Genie. That's how I feel about the new service. I'm excited to keep playing with it. I like that it gives people the options of paying or not paying. I think that gives people more flexibility in their vacations. I think it opens up planning opportunities for people.
Where you start losing me are the fancy rides. You start losing me on the fancy rides. You also, you know what, I'm gonna put it out there. You also lose me on the fact that pass holders are really like given nothing with this.
Overall, I feel like it's gonna be an adjustment for people. I'm excited about it. I haven't really played around with it too much, so I can't wait to get my hands in there and really see everything that Disney Genie can offer.
I like it. I don't like that you have to pay for it. I should tattoo that on my forehead. Overall, there is some good, there's some bad, and there's some ugly with the Disney Genie. The biggest gripe I have is how confusing this system is. For an average family trying to plan a trip to Disney World, this is daunting and overwhelming, and Disney World is already big enough and confusing enough, and this is adding another layer of confusion to that. So I think branding-wise, they didn't nail it. I think it is incredibly confusing, and I wish it was a simpler system.
Ultimately, the change is made, and I don't think that they'd make those changes genuinely without thinking that there's gonna be some improvement to the guest experience.
The Genie also kept telling me to eat at Tortuga Tavern. And that is a smart recommendation because it was probably the least crowded quick service in the park. But I have taste buds, and the Genie doesn't. And I don't want to go eat at Tortuga Tavern because I'm pretty sure the main things on their menu are a turkey leg and a hot dog. No Genie, I'm going to Cosmic Race to get a salad and sit with my friend Sunny Eclipse. Hey everyone, it's Molly. Thanks for tuning into this confusing episode of RTT. Please make sure to like and subscribe and ring that notification bell so you never miss an episode. And if you want more RTT right now, click over here for a playlist of our favorite episodes in the parks. And if you want more AllEars, click over here for Quincy and I doing a Genie experiment in Epcot. Thanks for watching.